Hello there, and welcome to what is this? Is this the 15th week of the course? Let's see here. I hope that the extra hour of sleep has done all of you college students well. I never feel like I get quite as much as that full hour says I did, but um, I'm looking forward to hoping that that hour will make me feel better as the day goes on. Okay, here's what we've got this week. We are in November 3rd through 16th for this unit. This is going to take us right to the middle of November. And this is a new unit for us. So remember, during a new unit, we are reading, we are posting, and then we will reply and do wikis in the second week. We are starting a new topic. It's classroom management and workload management. And I think that it's great to have really strong ideals and ways you want things to look, but how do we really make that work with our rest of our life? One of my favorite teaching memories was I had probably about two or three kids at the time of my own, and I had a student say, they turned in a paper like on a Wednesday or Thursday, and on a Monday he raised his hand and he said, "Mrs. Schrock, do you have our papers graded?" And another kid from the back of the room had chirped in with, "It was the weekend. She has a life, you know." So I laughed because that was what I felt in my heart, and the kids said it for me. And I think it's okay to have a life outside of teaching. So, how do we manage that to still reach all of our ideals, which are really good, but make it practical and make it happen for us? So, those are some things we're going to look at. Um, we have the appendix of resources that Atwell provides that I want you to look through. Those might be things that you can add and replace to your wiki. You're not locked in on anything in your wiki. For the final wiki, you can mess with that as much as you want to make your final product. So there's Atwell's resources. So basically what we're looking for right now is ways that we're going to keep track. Like a lot of you said, I'm going to teach reflection by a class discussion. Well, what's that going to look like? How are you going to monitor who really has reflected? How are you going to keep track of that? What's the accountability there for the student? What's the accountability to your own teaching? The best practices PDF is all of just a resource again of just teaching, writing some things that teachers do that are tried and true strategies. Best practices can be overused, sometimes that term can be, but hopefully that helps you. And another PDF called 30 Ideas for Teaching Writing. And then a storehouse of incredible resources is called Graphite, and I'd like you to go to that link. The link is in the classroom, and check it out. It is a place that they don't sponsor any particular program that I know of. As a teacher, you can write in and give reviews of their products, but it's an awesome resource, kind of just a whole database of all of the electronic resources out there that you might use in a classroom. Everything from the really basic stuff to the really new stuff, and it's really fun. So I just want you to check that out. In discussion board this week, we're going to talk about technology tools because they're supposed to help us, but some of them might take more time than they're worth. So, what will guide your use of technology and choice of technology tools in your classroom? How will you decide what you can use and what you won't use? I think it's really, we need to be careful with this topic because we probably have a predisposition towards technology or away from it, and we might need to fight our natural tendencies and think about the whole room that we're teaching. I am not a techie person, but I teach almost all online, and I have for about 7 years. I never thought in my traditional classroom that I would ever care about technology. I thought, what does it matter if I can do it well anyway? And I've really had to rethink some of my paradigms and rethink some of my pedagogy for teaching writing in lieu of or with the consideration of technology and the individual learner. So those are some of my thoughts on that, but I want to hear your thoughts. Don't cut yourself short on this. I know it's easy just to kind of spill a couple sentences and then be done, but do give some details for this discussion board topic. This is the blog this week is highlighted in green because it's supposed to be included in your final wiki as well. You're going to make a list make a graphic or list of your top 10 ideas, resources, or practices that you found this week. Use any site or resource from the course readings from this week or if it's previous week, and please include this in the final wiki. Include the link and your review of that particular idea. So annotate it, give your top 10. Why is it a good one? Why did it make your top 10 list? And then we don't need to worry about the wiki this week, but that what we're eventually going to be doing is creating a pacing guide, a calendar of sorts. Let's go ahead, and I want to go to the classroom real quickly here before I move on. Sorry, I have a couple different classrooms up, so you keep seeing glimpses of my other parts of my life. I wanted to go to the read and watch page. Last unit. We do have a guest lecture this week, and this is actually a guest lecture of a teacher that I used to work with years ago in brick and mortar. And because she manages so many different classes, she's going to tell you about that. She also, she basically did a recorded PowerPoint video of sorts, where she talks about how she uses a learning management system to manage her brick and mortar classes, her face-to-face classes, and how successful it's been. And this has been a couple years ago that she made this for me, and I know that after her success in 1 year of doing it, she actually, it was contagious, and her whole school district, my old school district, was adapting an LMS to be used from K through 12. So just something to consider as far as keeping your classroom managed. There's an article here about the gamification of education, and I encourage you to read that. It's not on the required reading list, but I believe it's a really good insight on gaming and websites for gaming. My little boy sat behind me today on the computer behind me and did reflex math problems, and a lot of the games, in fact, sometimes I would be ready to kind of chew him out because he's supposed to be doing his reflex math, and it looks like he's playing games because it looks like that burger game where you have to fulfill orders for customers, but it's his math game. And so what are the merits and what are the downsides of gaming in education? Here's the other ones we talked about. We Are Teachers is, again, another one that I just threw in this week just as another resource. It's not in our syllabus that you have to go there, but it's a great for teachers by teachers is another one, but this is a site that some of you have already discovered. And Graphite that I already talked about, and then a review of Read, Write, Think. So anyway, just thought I would share those, just kind of a more in-depth view of what's in the classroom this week, and do use references to those as you respond to your blog for sure, and maybe even your discussion board if you wish. I think just in closing, I just want you to think about what is reasonable to expect of yourself in a class period, what's reasonable to expect of yourself outside of class, and consider that you might have some coaching responsibilities or some club responsibilities as well. And, I want to protect you all from burnout in the future, and writing has a tremendous burnout. How can we balance all this great stuff that we know about giving students effective feedback and giving great instruction? How can we make it less on us, not because we're not being responsible for it, but how can we distribute ourselves the best and use our time the most effectively for the most students, still meeting individual needs? This is not a trick question, but it is a tricky question. I want to share with you a couple things that I have found to work, and I just actually did one in a college class this week and was really excited about the outcome. But I think I mentioned last week going into my own son's reading class and watching that happen, watching these stations happen. And that's just the idea of a station rotation model. I've mentioned this before, but consider, no matter what grade of students you have, to establish in your first couple weeks of school the expectations for your learning environment, and don't make it all teacher. Show them how to work independently or in small groups around your room, and think about ways that you can be working with a small group or individual students while other students are productive. This week I used a blended strategy in my comp class, and I had students reply to each other in a discussion board, and while I was conferencing with individual students. And we only got through about half of the students in one class period, but what happened is then the next time we met, I also had they did a initial discussion post on iLearn, and then they came back. Now, that may not work for all of your kids, but I am finding that more and more schools are moving towards a bring your own device. There are fewer technology limitations, and it's something you might want to consider. So this week, as you're looking at some of these resources, you might want to look at Graphite for some free learning management systems. They're out there. If you need some more ideas on that, let me know. Okay, that's my little tidbit to share for today. You have a great week.